We're talking about Keizer Rapids Park. Here's a little bit of information about the park. A lot of nice hiking trails. According to eBird, 121 species have been observed there. Now this will be a little back and forth because I'm going to have to stop my share and go into another part to get some additional information. So like here's the map of Keizer area, and you'll see over here where my arrow is River Road. So if you're coming from Salem, you'd come up to Shamawa Road, take a left turn, go out Shamawa Road, keep coming out until you get to Walsh Way, which is right about here, and then you go down, turn left on Walsh Way, the best way to go is all the way to the far back parking lot where the boat ramp is. And so then here's Keizer Rapids Park right along the Willamette River. Also, we're going to be talking about Willow Lake, which is just down the road from it.
Yeah, you know.
And then we go a little further and we'll get to Spine Landing.
Enough.
Now I'd ask everybody to make sure you've turned off your microphones. So there you can see sort of where it's located in the corner of Keizer. Let's take an aerial view of it. Come here and sort of here you can see where you'd come in at on Shamawa Road and turn down this Walsh Way. There's a dog park right here, playground, and you keep coming down until you get to this parking lot right here. Large parking lot, you can just park here. The first thing I do is go down this boat ramp. Sometimes in the summer it's even longer than this, and it really sticks pretty far out into the river. But I look down the edges here for anything. Down in this little cove, sometimes you can see ducks and things like mergansers. And then look across the river too. Along the edge here, you could see great blue herons, eagles, osprey, sitting ready to make a catch. Once in a while, we have belted kingfishers. Then when I'm done there, I walk back up the ramp, and then I head down this little trail. And I head out around here. There's a nice edge of trees here. And right along here, you can see lots of birds, sparrows, including towhees and woodpeckers in the trees. Down here, there's a fence right here, and this is private property, but you can sort of peer through here and see further down the river. I normally don't go any further than here. I just track back here, come up to here, and then there's restrooms right here also that you can see, the restroom. Then I go right down here, and there's this path here. And I take this path down and out, and it starts going through the gallery forest here. And so it's hard to see with all the trees, but then you can see where it sort of comes out here, and the trail comes out of the trees. But just keep walking down this, and woodpeckers, brown creepers in the trees. Sometimes a Cooper hawk will fly through, quite a few different things. And then I keep going up here, keep going, and then there's a little trail here. I come down this trail and it'll bring you down to the banks here. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a trail here a little sooner that you can go down. Take this trail down, and it'll bring you to this nice little area here where you can get real close to any ducks or things that are in the water out here. Sometimes around the edges, as you come down on these edges, are sparrows and things. Then I walk right down this trail. Doesn't show it very well here, but there's a nice trail that you can go by in, there's edges of trees here. Here we go. You just continue down this trail by the edges of trees and look up in these trees. There's going to be a lot of activity on both sides. Then I just continue out here and just follow the trail. Once you get out here far enough, you'll come to part this is private property out here. But if you just follow this out here, you can follow it around out here to the rock area in here where you can see the river, and you'll be right next to the river. I think I'm down a little too, here we go. So you'll come down the trail, and right here, this area, a lot of times there's people letting their dogs play down here and stuff, but you're right next to the river. You can look up both ways, osprey, bald eagle across on these rocks, sometimes spotted sandpiper, other shorebirds. Once in a while, kingfishers are going up and down the river. We'll pull out here a little bit. Once you get done there, then I come back here, come back around this trail. There's a little pond here. You can see it here. You can walk up here and sort of overlook the pond. And I think there's a golf frisbee thing up here. And you can look down over the pond. Sometimes great blue herons there. Then I walk up through here, the woods, take the trail around. There's several trails that you can go through here. Normally I take this one that leads you right up, and just look here for a trail that will go through the trees. I'll come out here, you'll walk through the trees a little bit, and about halfway through the trees is a trail, and you can just look along this trail, either go back here towards that main walkway that we just came through here from the parking lot, and it will meet up with this other trail here, or you can sort of work your way through the forest back, come out right about here, and you can just walk back to the parking lot. So that's sort of the overview of the Keizer Rapids. And before I show you the rest of the slides, we'll go ahead and here's, before I go to any of these places, I always go to eBird and look at eBird. You can click here on eBird and then go to Explore and then go down to hotspots. Put in the name of the hotspot. So if I just put in Keizer Rapids, come up here and click on it. You'll see this little box, go arrow down to view details. And then it'll bring you up to this. There's where I got 121 species observed. And you'll see the latest things seen there. So just this morning, Tara saw Anna's hummingbird, great blue heron, crow, brown creeper, starling, American robin, song sparrow, spotted towhee, but you can just go down the list. The day before, she also saw white-crowned sparrow, bald eagle. Up there's a kingfisher a couple of days ago. But you can sort of see the species that you might see at that time of year and what other people are seeing. So, okay. Now after this, so here we are, get back down here. Here we are to the boat ramp parking lot here. Just on the next place we're going to go is to the Willow Lake. Just take Walsh Way out here to Shamawa Road, turn right on Shamawa Road, and you'll go down to, on one side at Shoreline, on the other is Windsor Island Road. So at this intersection, there's a stop sign here, turn left on Windsor Island Road. Follow it down just a little ways, probably about a mile. You'll go past Lock Haven, past this log house garden. And then right when you get up here, there's an entry here and there's a parking lot. And we'll go over that in a little bit. Right across the street is a driving range. So that's where we'll be headed next. But let's finish off the rest of Keizer Rapids Park. I'll share that other screen. So then here you can sort of see the outline of the park. Here's the parking area. And here's where I sort of showed you walk along here. Here's where the boat ramp thing goes out into the river. Here's sort of the trail through here. But you can sort of see the size and shape of the park. Here's along the river. Sometimes red-tailed hawks or bald eagles will be up in these trees, or osprey. Here's when you first trip I take from the restroom or from the trail when you go down to the boat ramp. If you take the trail I talked about to the left and goes by the trees, you'll see this picnic table here. Here's a nice spring shot before the leaves have got on the trees, but real nice area. Here's the pond I was talking about. It's in the back part of the park. Here's one of the unimproved trails, and there's quite a few big trees, both conifer trees and deciduous trees. Here's some of the things you can see during the right times of the year, that is. The common merganser, in the spring and summer, the osprey. Pretty much any time of the year, the downy woodpecker, and of course the great blue heron. Excuse me. So let's go on to Willow Lake water treatment plant. Here's a picture of the treatment plant. And the reclamation area where you go birding is right here. So we turn off Windsor Island Road into the entry to the water treatment plant, and immediately on your right is a driveway. There's a small little parking lot where about 6 cars can fit in. Park there, then you start down the little trail here over a bridge and go out this trail. And then I normally go to the right. And during the winter, I normally just keep going around this trail here, come out around, then I go out here towards the second one, walk here, come around the second one, look along the edges of these trees, and of course in the marshy area here, the retaining ponds. There's more trees along here. There's agricultural field off here. A lot of times you'll see a lot of birds in these trees. Sometimes this pond here has some water in it, but it's sort of a heightened area here where you can sort of look over and peer over. Then I come back around this way, just circle that pond, back to this trail. Then I come and take a right and finish my route around the first pond. Nice line of trees here. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming, the amount of reeds and stuff in the thing, and it's hard to see. Once in a while, there's a little areas that you can poke your head through and sort of see through and onto the marsh. Then you just keep coming around, and then you'll come back to the same entry here where you can go back to the parking lot here. Sometimes during the summer and late spring, I come here, come down, walk down here, and then there's a little path road up to here. And right in here is where you can sometimes see common yellowthroats and woodpeckers and things like that. And this little grove here, I'll show you a picture of it. Sometimes there's a lot of warblers and things in here to look for. So here's the location. Mostly all unpaved hiking trails, but they're pretty smooth. 92 species have been seen there. Here's another look at it and shows you the driveway and the parking lot here. The trails around the wetland habitat. Here's where you go through and get to the second one. Another wetland here. Overflow, and sometimes it has water in it, sometimes it doesn't. This is a nice field over here. And just circle around. This is all fenced off, this area here. And work your way back. It's about, if you take the whole thing, 1.32 miles, probably closer to a mile if you don't take all the other little things. Also, you can come around here, and when you come back and come down this path to go around here, there's a little trail right in the middle of this wetland that you can go down. At the end, there's a tree here, sometimes different birds in there, and sometimes you can get a better view of these two little wetland areas. Here you can sort of see from above. Here you can see sort of where you walk around the ponds here, the circle around it. Here's that little tree grove that I was talking about. The parking lot's right here in front of us, right along here, and the trail's over here, and you just go through the trail. Here's that trail around the first pond, and instead of going around this way to the back, you just cut through here and come around, and the trail cuts right back through this grove of trees. It dead ends there, and you just return back on the same trail and continue your hike. But yeah, in the spring, it can really be filled with a lot of birds in here. Here's one of the marshes and wetland areas. A lot of red-winged blackbirds in here. They really like it. Here's more during this, when it has a lot of water and the reeds have grown up. Sometimes it's a little hard to see stuff in the water. Here's the birds that you can see. Of course, the red-winged blackbirds, they're all around there and they're making a lot of noise. You can see a lot of swallow species. They do have swallow boxes all around the edges of the wetland. And of course, during the spring and summer, the nice common yellowthroat seems to be there, like that one little thicket area. Next, we're going to venture to Spawns Landing County Park. It's right along the Willamette River also. On 22nd Avenue, not far, about a half mile to a mile from the Willow Lake water treatment plant. 61 acres. Has quite a bit of open space, as we'll see. Most of the trails are all unpaved, but fairly smooth. Some of them have a little bit of elevation, but not a lot. 87 bird species. I'll stop my share here and go back into the map. So we were just at Willow Lake here. I'll show the we had a photo of this, but you can see a little better here. You can see the entrance and you can see part of the parking lot. It sort of has trees all around it. You can see the trail coming through here. And you can see this little trail, like I said, in the spring, this is where you can come through, and it ends right up here. There's a little fence here. Let's come out and go back here. And there's the driving range right across the street as a landmark. Now to get to Spawn's Landing, we'll come out and take a left on Windsor Island Road from the water treatment plant and come up here to Naples Street North and take a left, follow Naples, and it turns into 22nd, and the entry to Spawn's Landing is right here just as you get around the 22nd. Right along the Willamette River, there's several parking lots. Let's take an overview look at it. Here's the roadway into it. Come, and you can't see it here because of the trees, but there is a little parking area here where 3 or 4 cars can fit in here. And then you can go through the trail here and go all through these trees and work your way all through these trees. I don't recommend it during the winter. It's fairly wet and thick in there, but it's a nice hike during the summer. Otherwise, you can come down here and there's a couple pull-offs here, a nice field here. Well, I said there's a lot of open parkland and some trees out here. Then you come down further. There's some parking spaces here along the edge in this field. You can hear and see birds all along this edge, forested edge here. You come around and it makes a circle. There's some parking lots. This is the furthest parking lot. Then there's little trails leading through here where you can come down and get to the river. Also, there's one with a picnic table. If you see some picnic tables here, you can go to the picnic tables and there's a set of stairs that will bring you right down to the river here. It's not a very long distance to the river. Like if you go to Willamette Mission Park, it's sort of out in this area also. It's a lot longer walk to the river than it is from Spawn's Landing parking areas. A really nice short trip to the river. You can see it across the way. There's some rocks here. You can see sandpipers and different shorebirds sometimes. To give you an idea of where we're at here, if you were to go straight across the river here, you're almost out to Lincoln in that little Lincoln store here. So that's sort of where you are along the river. So, okay, let's. So here you'll see one of the parking strips and some of the open fields we saw in the other from above in the satellite view. Back here, I've got a little video of it. You can just sort of see all the open area there. Sometimes harriers. You can see hawks and crows flying back through here. It gives you an idea of sort of this is near the entrance. Just a little ways down for the entrance. Up here is where the road is. Oops. Here's the one trail, like the first parking area on your left as you're coming in. If you park there, here's the first trail, and you'll take this trail out and around, and then you go down, and the trail will take you all the way around throughout all these trees, deciduous trees out here. But like I said, it's better in the summer. It can get really wet down there. But during the winter, you can still walk down here and walk up to the edge of the trail, and along these trees, there might be a few birds in there. Here's a trail down towards the last parking lot. The picnic table is over here to our left, but it's a straight shot right down to the river. I mean, 100 yards or so, it's not very far. 1/8 of a mile, something like that, not very far at all. Here's sort of what you'll see when you get down there towards the river. Looks like, well, that's just a rock there. And here's the Willamette River back here. In the spring and summer, we can have some nice flowers and blooms. Some of the birds you can see there, great horned owl, red-breasted nuthatch, the brown creeper, and western bluebirds are some of the things you could see. Next, we'll go to Country Glen Park, but let's stop and we'll go here to, I don't think I showed you the Willow Lake list of 92 species. Here we have nobody's made a report since October, so it's been a little while. Oh, and I'll mention right now, for some reason, it's closed. Willow Lake is closed now. Not sure when it's going to open. Supposedly some trees came down in there and they just haven't gotten around to reopening it. I hope they reopen it before spring here. But you'll just see mallards, widgeon, Anna's hummingbird, Virginia rail. That's unbelievable. 6 Virginia rail there. Killdeer, gulls. You can see quite a few gulls and things like that there. A black phoebe, stellar jays, crows, kinglets, Buick's wrens, so quite a few. So there in October, late October, according to this, wow, Paul was there and saw 34 species. So you can see how good it can be just in one outing. You saw 34 species. Now here for Spong's Landing, December 21st, so a few weeks ago, Dominic, cackling geese, Anna's hummingbird. I won't name them all off, but you can see chestnut-back chickadee, golden crown kinglet's a good bird, western bluebirds, 30 juncos. There's that northern harrier. But Dominic saw 18 species on that one trip there to Spong's Landing. So now next we're going to go to Country Glen Park. It's a park here in the city of Keizer, not really well known and not used a lot. It's located not too far from where I live, and so I go there once in a while. I'd like to go there a little more often. Parklands, fields, and some decidual forest. They both have a multi-use paved path and an unimproved trail. For being underbirded and underappreciated, 70 species isn't too bad. Here's sort of what it looks like. Like we see a lot of parkland, but you can see the edges here in the trees. A creek comes right through here. And then here's another edge where it's sort of a wetland back here. We'll show you a video here in a little bit of that. But there's houses along the edge here, and a lot of these people have feeders. Here's that edge I was talking about towards the back. Just tons of sparrows and house finches back on this weedy edge. You can see some conifers back here, deciduous trees in the back. I'll sort of show you what it looks like. Here's a little video as I was walking along it. You can see some of the taller trees here and along here. You can see some of the houses along the edge, and like this one I know has bird feeders. The key thing here is, besides just looking out here parking along the edges, is right here is a trail. An unimproved trail is fairly good. I'll show you some photos of the trail here in a minute, but you can just go down this trail for about a quarter to half a mile and go along the edge, and on the one side are the houses with feeder, and a creek runs all along the right edge. And then on the left edge is some weedy patches in field and the little trees along the edge. So it's a great spot to see goldfinches, warblers in the spring and summer, and you hardly ever see anybody out there. So it's just a great area. Here's one of the paths. When you first start down the path, sort of looks like this on the left. Later, as you get down, you can see the berry patches here on both sides. The creek is right over here. Sometimes you look up in this tree, you see kinglets and stuff during the right time of year, but you just walk along this path and you'll follow it until it it'll end up at a road where you can just turn around and head back. Here's a closer look further out on the trail. Like I was saying, all the berries and the weedy patches here, good for your sparrows, and this back, and here's sparrows and goldfinches are in here. Along here, sometimes you'll see warblers flitting out from this and going over to the trees. But just a wonderful spot. Some things you could see, of course, the chickadees, the house finches, dark-eyed juncos. During the migration time, we see evening grosbeaks. This one guy's feeder along that one path I was just showing you on the right side, he had about 8 of these evening grosbeaks as his feeder. Sort of neat. So let's get out and we'll head here to now. We didn't explain yet how to get to the park, so let's go here to the map. The easiest way to probably tell you is, get out a little more. Here we go. Okay, so when you were coming in to go to Keizer Rapids Park, we came up to River Road North up, and we turned on Jamala Road. Instead, we're going to continue straight out on River Road, keep following River Road, and you'll go out quite a ways, and then you'll come to where it splits off. Here, this is Wheatland Road, and this is River Road northeast. You continue to the right along River Road, keep going up here, and then you're going to come to Country Glen Avenue, southeast. Turn right on Country Glen, and you don't take the first turn here, you take the second right, which is Ridgetop. You follow Ridgetop down until you get to Horizon Ridge, turn right on Horizon Ridge, come down to Jakewood, take a left on Jakewood, and then you take a left on Parkside. You can either park along here, the roadside. I like to park up here where it's a cul-de-sac, and I park right up here in this area here. So we'll take a look at the overview of it. So here we're coming down Ridgetop, turning, and it's not very far once you turn onto Horizon Ridge. You'll turn again here and come down to Parkside. Here you can see the park, a playground area, a covered area here. You can walk this way and go around this way if you just want a short walk. Or what I normally do is come up and park my car here. I look over this way and check out and just look here. I look and walk all along this edge here and look back into these trees. Once I get to this edge, here's the entry to that path I was telling you about. You can see all the houses along the edge here, but just walk along this path. Hard to see the creek in here because it's covered up by so many trees, but just continue down this path called Lake Labish Ditch. And then you'll come up here, there's a road going into an old dairy. I stop here and check along these trees here. It's private property from here on, but I just stay here in this area, look across to the field. Sometimes there's water in this area here. You can see some ducks or other birds there. There's trees over here and here that can have hawks in them. And I just look all around this area and then start my jaunt back down the road path and back down to where I started. Sometimes I walk along this edge here and around, and other times just walk back to my car. And in Country Glen, somebody was just, Dominic was there January 8th, 22 mallards, great blue heron, harrier, bush tits, 30 bush tits, golden crown sparrows, good place for sparrows. I mean, here you've got a golden crown, song sparrow, towhee, 75 red-winged blackbirds, but yellow rump warblers. So just in that one time about 2 to 3 weeks ago, Dominic, I had 24 species there. So definitely a nice place if you want a place that isn't very busy and you can just sort of take your time. This is a great place for that. So let's go. So basic, I'd like to thank you for attending today. That here's our next webinars coming up. We're going to do the songbirds series since we're getting into the migration season and we're going to start getting quite a few birds coming through. It's a good time to have this class. The flycatchers will start coming in here pretty soon in March and April. Some of our winter sparrows will start leaving, like the fox sparrows and golden crowns will leave, and we'll have other sparrows coming in, the Savannah sparrows. Although they're here year round, but they'll be a little more prevalent. Some of the warblers will start coming in. So I'll stop my share and we'll open it up. You can turn on your microphones, and if you have any questions, go ahead now and ask any questions you might have. I'll check if there's any in chat. I forgot to mention chat. First one, are any of these trails marked? Otherwise, okay. No, I don't, in all of these places, really none of them are marked. But if you okay, let's just start with Keizer Rapids Park. If you just, let's see, I'll bring up my screen again. Okay, so let's go back to Keizer Rapids. Oops. So let's say Keizer Rapids, for example. If you come down here and just go down to the boat ramp, if you go out here, none of these are marked, but if you just come out here and follow the paved trail here and come out and around here. And if you don't want to go way out here to the river, you don't have to. At any point, you can cut it off. And you'll see when you come up here, the main trail is here, and you could just circle right back. Or if you come up through here, there's a trail to your right where you can cut through here, and you can see a trail cutting back to the parking lot. But most of the time, most of the trails, if you just sort of try to make a circle around, they'll lead you back to the parking lot. On here, there's no markers here at the water treatment plant, but basically you just come along the trail and you make the circle, you'll come right back to this trail here. If you keep going around, come right around, you'll run back to this trail that leads you back over here. This is the only parts, and all these are cut off out here, and the field is cut off. There's fencing around here, so there's no place else to go except come back around and come to here. Spawns Landing, I'd say here, you could get, if you go out into this forest area over here at the first parking lot to your left, and you take that in the summer, you could get lost out there. It's just a real, some of it isn't well marked. And if you're there early in the summer, you might have to do some trail clearing and stuff. So it can be pretty bad out through there. But I would say if you just come up here and look through this area that we talked about and do the panoramic view here of the fields and back here. Then go to that last parking lot and walk down this trail. There's a lot of bushes and trees here. You can almost, from here, you can almost see the parking lot. And so it's just a straight little jaunt, straight out, and shouldn't be an issue there. And Country Glen Park, I don't think that would be too tough either, because when you park here, all you have is this. You can walk around the circular part here and along the edge, and you're all within a distance of the parking area. And if you go down this trail, it doesn't lead any other place except for the end street down at the end. And you can go down as far as you want and just turn around, come back on that same trail, and you'll come down to the entry right over on the edge here. So yeah, I'm sorry they aren't more clear, but this trail just goes straight out to the end street here, and you just turn around, come back on a straight trail. And it'll lead you right back to the same place you started in the parking lot in that big green area of the park. So let me get out of there. Okay. Can we show, okay. Yes, and somebody says, thank you for offering this. Who would know there's so many great birding spots? And around the Willamette Valley and Salem area, there's so many different birding spots. Tim and I just the other day, if you're on our field trip email list, I just sent out one. We went to Brian Johnston Park in South Salem and Secor Park. That's right near Crossler Middle School. That's just a wonderful place. It's the first time I'd been there. I'm going to go back there many a times. And then we went just a little for about a quarter mile from that Secor Park on Liberty Road. You turn, I can't remember the name of the road right now, but you turn down and there's a Joryville, it's Joryville Road or something like that. There's a Joryville County Park, and that's a very cool place. But we're going to start going to a few more of those places and do write-ups on them. And so you have a lot more places in the area to go out birding on your own. And will I show the photos of Willow Lake again? Yes. So Willow Lake. So here's Willow Lake Water Treatment Plant. Here's the main road, Windsor Island Road. Turn here like you're going in. There's a gate here to get into the main area. There's a gate right about here someplace. But you just turn into here, the parking lot, and there's all the trails we talked about. And then some other photos. There's the overview of the two different wetlands and a little grove of trees. An overview of the wetlands.
Mike, could you show the birds again? You had photos of some birds there at the end. Thank you.
There's that grove, the marsh, the wetlands, and there's the birds. So mainly I put in red-winged blackbirds, both the male and the female, because there's so many red-winged blackbirds there that it's just really something to behold. You can hear them just singing and making a real racket. And then of course the swallows, since they have the swallow boxes, and some of the warblers that come in. And while
so your bird in the upper right, what was that one?
The upper right, this is a red-winged blackbird, is a female.
Female, okay.
They can get mixed up with female house finches and some other birds like that. So yeah, it's good to be able to tell
very
them.
good, thank you.
You see a bunch of the males are flitting around and stuff, and then you see one that looks like this. It's most likely the female redwing instead of a female house finch. Also has the stripe up here in the above the eye to the house finch doesn't really have. And let's see, we'll show the other birds while we're at it. And this was at Spong's Landing, the great horned owl, the upper right corner of the red-breasted nuthatch, the brown creeper here in the bottom left, and then a pair of bluebirds, the male on the left and the female on the right. Or that could even be a juvenile. It doesn't look, looks pretty mangy there and sort of Country Glen Park. Of course, the black-capped chickadee, the house finch, our little Oregon dark-eyed junco, and on migration, the evening grosbeak. Okay, and here we'll get back to Keizer Rapids and then Keizer Rapids, oops, that's not Keizer Rapids. Here we go. Keizer Rapids, like the common merganser and the ducks, you can see the osprey in spring and the downy woodpecker. Possibly could see hairy woodpecker and red-breasted sapsucker there, but we mostly see downy woodpecker and northern flickers. And of course, the great blue herons you can see along the river or that marsh area. So let's see. Will this be on YouTube soon? Yes. I'm going to try to have it on YouTube later this afternoon. So all you have to do to see it on YouTube is go to YouTube and put in Salem Audubon Society and click on our videos and you'll be able to see them. Also for free, you can sign up to be subscribed to the YouTube channel and you'll get notifications when things are posted, and it's free. Okay, so any other questions?
I have another one, Mike.
Sure.
In the Spong's Landing Park, that first parking lot as you enter, did you say that would be wet in the winter or the summer? When is that going to be?
Wet in the winter right now.
Wet in the winter, yeah.
With all the rains and stuff.
Yeah.
It's best there in the summer to walk that area.
Thank you.